that stuff has been going on for all that time. Now we've got name, image, likeness and the transfer portal. And it's like the NCAA is so far behind, and the snowball is just going to run over top of them, which is no surprise. But I don't see how they get out of their way of this stuff. I don't know how the NCAA doesn't collapse. Brian?
I'm with you. I mean, I've been thinking the same thing. Like it just seems like they've turned into just a completely reactionary organization where it's almost, they're on skates, going backwards on skates downhill. And, the transfer portal, everybody, you're hearing all the coaches weigh in saying this is a complete disaster, right? It didn't make sense to me. I can't believe that they've said, okay, because of COVID, everyone can have another year. We played a full year. I mean, a lot of teams played a full schedule. How are you going to give everybody another year? You like this Bohannon kid coming back at Iowa. You're literally trashing the record books of the Big Ten by letting a guy play 5-6 years. It doesn't make any sense. And I think everything they do, they're just being reactionary, and the likeness and paying people or letting athletes get a little more than what they get today. They fought that for so long. I just think they missed the boat. I don't know how the thing could collapse and go away. I can't picture that world either. In the tournament not be an NCAA tournament. But guess what? There'd still be a tournament. You don't think smart people could step up and figure out a way to create an end-of-season tournament?
And run it right.
I mean, it can happen. Somebody's going to figure it out and is going to step up and do it. And if the NCAA continues to just make mistakes and be reactionary, everybody's going to be ready to jump. I mean, it's ABA, NBA, right? One of them is going to win out. And, I think the NCAA has put themselves in a really weird spot.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not picking on Louisville in any way. Just as an example, Nick, when this name, image, likeness stuff kicks in and all that, and players are really getting paid, it seems like it would be difficult for schools like Louisville who have been getting in trouble to, navigate that. Because we don't know how anybody's going to navigate it because it's such a freaking mystery.
Yeah, I think for Louisville, they're playing. I mean, until this latest, as you mentioned, they really didn't do anything. I mean, they just had a coach that made a huge mistake and was essentially an idiot. But I think Chris Mack has always planned to sell Louisville as, yes, there's some things everything they're still potentially going to be punished for, or things that he had nothing to do with and no involvement in. And I think that still sells. But what you worry about is, even if that's the case, have you lost so much momentum due to just lack of success to where even that won't matter to people? Because Louisville basketball has a lot to sell as a program, fan base. I mean, they are the pro team here in town. That's no secret. But you missed the tournament last year. I mean, you haven't made a deep run in the tournament since 2015. And the longer you go with that gap, the tougher you are going to have as far as selling Louisville as what it once was. And that's why I think this is such a big year for them, because they need some kind of momentum. And, I think the roster is set up to where they could have a solid team, but is it one that could really do something that is big picture in the grand scheme of college basketball as far as a tournament run? I don't know. But, the name, image, and likeness thing is, I think the NCAA, as you guys have both alluded to, I think they fought this for so long. I'm with Brian. I don't think this thing will ever just eventually collapse, but we may see a point where college basketball is just a different world, and it's essentially just a different level of, I guess, lower level pro basketball. But you're right. Anybody would pick this thing up, make it a TV event, make buku dollars, because it works. The proof is there. The NCAA is almost not worthy of the product they have when it comes to college basketball.
No, and then they give Muppet Mark Emmert a raise and extension, which was nuts. And the name, image, likeness, that brings up a whole other thing, and I'll ask both of you, because right now there are 6 states that have passed legislation that goes into effect July 1st, which means their athletes can start making money legally July 1st, and there's nothing to stop them. There's nothing the NCAA can do. What in the hell is going to happen to college athletics with just some states having it and some not? How are they going to be stopped? Brian, I mean, you were a former athlete in college. I mean, if there was a state that was offering you a scholarship, say Illinois had it and Indiana didn't, and they were saying, hey, you can get a deal set up here, would that have changed where you went, especially someone like you are from Terre Haute, close to Illinois? Would that have in any way changed where you went?
It's hard to put myself in that mindset. I'll just be honest, but I can't say yes. I mean, I think no. I wanted to play for Bob Knight. I wanted to play at Indiana, where the history and tradition where my heart was. I can't see having changed that. Chasing money as a 17 or 18-year-old kid. So much has changed, in 30 years. These kids certainly thinking like I was thinking back then, but everything changed. I don't want to blame the student athletes. I'm sitting there thinking what kind of marketing campaign I'd run for myself and shopping myself around, doing carpet commercials, flooring commercials. I mean, HVAC. I'd have deals set up all over the place.
Be on a camel.
Contracts. Exactly.